A column of black smoke rises above the Kerch Strait as part of the Crimean Bridge buckles under fire. At dawn, flames dance across steel and concrete. Supply convoys grind to a halt. Moscow's prized link to occupied Crimea is suddenly on life support. What just happened, and what does it mean for this war? Hello everyone, welcome back to the Frontline Report channel. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today we dive deep into the dramatic footage of the Crimean Bridge ablaze, Ukraine's latest strike that has rattled Moscow's strategy. We'll explore the external damage, internal structure, performance in military terms, safety or strategic safeguards, unique features of the bridge, cost and strategic price, and finally what this means going forward. As you watch the scenes, imagine you're flying over, circling, zooming in on damage, hearing alarms, feeling tension. When you view the bridge from the outside after the strike, the spectacle is haunting. The steel arches, once a symbol of power and connectivity, now glowing with molten sections, the roadway is cracked, entire spans are sagging or collapsed, smoke plumes obscure the morning sun as fire spreads to structural elements and support pillars. Ships in the strait retreat, the water reflects flames, an eerie mirror to destruction above. Piers that sat submerged in water now show bubbling, churning water near their bases, hinting at underwater damage. Debris floats chunks of concrete, twisted rebar. The bridge's silhouette, once sleek and formidable, is now broken, fractured. You see explosions along the deck, secondary blasts, vehicles, freight trains, fuel wagons, a sudden rupture in movement. The bridge's access lanes are blocked, barricaded by wreckage. Emergency cranes attempt stabilizing efforts, but their outlines are dwarfed by the scale of damage. The surrounding sea traffic has halted. Naval patrols circle nervously. On the Russian side, guard posts and checkpoints are in disarray, smoke drifting up behind them. From that outer perspective, you grasp two things. First, how critical the bridge is, and second, how vulnerable even massive infrastructure can become under modern warfare. Inside short, behind the surface, the bridge is a layered complex of structural supports, tension cables, deck girders, service tunnels, maintenance walkways, rail conduits, and utility lines, water, power, communications. After the strike, internal access corridors are blocked by collapsed slabs, utility lines sparking, emergency lighting failing. Once hidden mechanisms, bearing joints, expansion joints, dampers are exposed, cracked, or twisted. The interior was never designed to be combat resilient, so when outer sections fail, the interior becomes a dangerous maze of debris and failure points. Performance in military/strategic terms in civilian life. Performance would mean how well the bridge carries traffic, handles load, resists weather and vibrations. But here, performance translates to how well it functioned under strike, how much military logistics it facilitated, and how resilient it proved under attack. Before the strike, the Crimean Bridge was a strategic artery. Road and rail lines carried troops' armor, fuel, supplies, reinforcements, heavy equipment, and civilian logistics into the annexed peninsula. It was the lifeline for Russia's southern front. Despite sanctions, embargoes, and isolation, that bridge was a logistic backbone. Under strike, its performance was severely degraded. The explosion knocked out sections of roadway and rail track, forcing detours or suspensions. Supply convoys are delayed or halted. Russian military convoys must now reroute via sea or longer land paths, increasing cost, time, and vulnerability. The bridge's ability to support multimodal transport under duress was tested, and it failed in parts. Its redundancy was limited. Damage to underwater supports likely reduces load capacity for remaining spans. The strike also tests resilience, how fast repair crews can patch spans, reinstate tracks, re-establish guard, and resume throughput. In performance terms, the bridge's throughput is now cut by perhaps 50-70% or worse, slowing Russia's operations in Crimea and southern Ukraine. Safety features/protective and defensive systems. Though built as an infrastructure project, the Crimean Bridge did incorporate certain safeguards and measures, anti-vibration and damping systems to counter wind, thermal expansion, seismic stress. These help under normal loads but provide no true defense under explosion. Structural redundancy, multiple support pillars, double-deck design road plus rail. If one pillar fails, some load could redistribute. Monitoring sensors, strain gauges, motion monitors, load sensors, underwater sensors around pillars. These allow early warning of excessive stress or shifts. protective barriers, concrete berms, blast walls around certain critical junctions, shielded conduits, crash barriers. Limited military defense. Russian forces likely assigned SAM or air defense coverage near the bridge, maritime patrols, patrol boats guarding approaches, surveillance and radar, control over airspace and zones. Rapid repair teams and stockpiled spare parts, sections of girders and segments ready for replacement. Seismic isolation joints and expansion joints to allow movement without catastrophic fracturing. But all these safety measures are weak when faced with precision underwater charges or drone assaults. The strike reveals that even heavy infrastructure is vulnerable when attacked with asymmetric means. Unique selling points i.e., what made Crimean Bridge special strategically, symbolically, logistically. The Crimean Bridge was more than a bridge. It was a political monument, a statement, a symbol of Russia's claimed permanence in Crimea. Vladimir Putin inaugurated it in 2018 with much fanfare, as Russia's grand demonstration of control over the peninsula. It linked Russia and Crimea directly road and rail bypassing Ukraine. It reduced Russia's dependence on sea or ferry routes. It enabled faster, heavier supply lines, civilian movement, tourism, resource transport, and strategic supply chains. Its dual-use civilian plus military design made it a logistic marvel. Freight, passenger, armored vehicles, fuel trucks all could cross. The construction used advanced materials, long spans, underwater supports, and modern engineering methods, making it relatively resilient to natural forces. In peacetime, it boosted trade, connection, and integration of Crimea with Russia proper. Strategically, it gave Russia a supply corridor that Ukraine could not easily interdict until now. Symbolically, it was a trophy. Its psychological value was immense. Destroying or damaging it undercuts the aura of invincibility. Its uniqueness lay in connecting a contested territory by land, in reinforcing a territorial claim, and enabling sustained military logistics in a contested theater. Price/cost strategic, material, political material cost. The bridge reportedly cost about $3.6 billion to build. That figure is often cited in media. Adjust for overrun, security, maintenance. Repair cost, after this strike, repairing structural damage, replacing spans, reinforcing underwater supports, restoring road and rail tracks, re-establishing utilities likely in the hundreds of millions. Operational cost, diversion of forces, additional protection, longer supply routes, fuel, delays. Political cost, Russia's prestige is damaged. Opponents may question safety and permanence. Morale and propaganda take a blow. Military cost. Disrupted supply lines cost ammunition, time, opportunity. The strike forces Russia to allocate assets to defense rather than offense. Collateral cost. Civilian risk. Disruption of civilian traffic. Blocking essential goods. Possibly casualties. Environmental damage. Insurance. Legal claims. Opportunity cost. While repair is underway, Russia cannot fully utilize the bridge. Alternate routes are slower, more vulnerable, or limited capacity. Cost to Ukraine/strategic gain. Ukraine invests in intelligence, munitions, planning, risk. If successful, the payoff is strategic pressure, disruption, psychological advantage. In short, Russia loses a vital artery, must pay to repair, loses prestige, and suffers tactical delays. Ukraine gains a symbolic and tactical victory at risk, but must absorb counterattacks and retaliation. Conclusion: this strike on the Crimean Bridge is not just an explosion. It's a jolt at logistics, symbolism, strategy, morale. The external spectacle shows how vulnerable even fortress-scale infrastructure can become under precision attack and asymmetric warfare. The interior damage reveals the fragility beneath the surface. Performance is crippled. The bridge's throughput, resilience, and strategic value are diminished. Safety systems, though present, were simply overwhelmed. Its unique selling points, political symbolism, logistic lifeline, dual-use capacity made it a high-value target. The price Russia pays is steep, material, operational, political, strategic. For Ukraine, the gains may be even more significant than the immediate damage. It's a message. As this video ends, remember, in modern conflict, infrastructure is a battleground. Bridges, ports, power grids, all are targets. What we saw here is a microcosm of warfare's evolving nature, subtle, precise, strategic. What comes next? Russia will scramble to repair, harden, retaliate. Ukraine will leverage disruption, and the war's geography shifts under fire. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis useful, smash that like button, subscribe for more in-depth Frontline reports, and hit the bell so you don't miss upcoming episodes. I'll be back with more analysis as events unfold.